Hi friends, I'm going to show you some card designs today. These are alternatives to the Christmas card kit from Creative Memories that sold out actually in the fall. The Creative Memories Christmas card kit is always so popular. I recommend that people get it right when it comes out if that's something you're interested in, because it pretty much always does sell out very early. Because it's sold out, Creative Memories has put together some holiday card design ideas for advisors. And if you would like a printed set of those instructions or a PDF, you can contact your advisor. If you don't have an advisor, you can contact me and you can order most of the supplies from the Creative Memories website. There are a few things in here you can't get there, and I will talk about that when we get to them. But the paper pack, the stickers, the card bases, and adhesive are all things you can order on your own. You can also go to your Creative Memories advisor or come to me in person or through email to get some of those things if you're not able to order them yourself, or if you don't have an advisor and don't know how to get them. I'd be happy to help you with that as well. So let me start off by showing you the advisor exclusive items I'm gonna kind of share and talk about and that are featured in these card designs. There are 3 different kind of mini embellishment packs. These are just $5 each. Each one comes with 12 layered embellishments, and they have some texture on them, so they're really fun. It's like a layer of regular cardstock kind of paper with some foam, so you have the dimension there, and then some kind of fabric-y, like a fabric-y texture piece. And that's the same on each of these 3 designs. So we've got gift boxes, candy canes, cheerful snowmen. They're really cute. And there's also bows, which I know I have, but I, for some reason, didn't grab to show today. So there's also a set of bows with a similar kind of setup. So 4 different packs that you could use and that are featured in the card ideas. What I'm going to do today is actually make all of these 4 cards using just 1 pack of these embellishments. I'm going to focus on the gift boxes. And in the instructions, it has you use some Christmas cheer paper, but also like some from the regular designer paper pack and some from the accessory paper pack. The Christmas cheer designer paper pack is mostly red and green with some gold and white. And the accessory pack has more of the blue in it. So it's a really fun accent as like an addition to this set of paper. So if you're into more of the traditional Christmas colors, this one's got you covered. And if you want to bring in more of the blue, the accessory pack from this collection has a lot more of that blue color in it. So you're going to see some of the blue here, but I'm just using pages from the designer paper pack and did not get out the accessory pack for my cards today. There is quite a bit of blue in the embellishments, so if you want to bring in more of the blue paper, you would want to get the accessory paper pack for that. These embellishment packs are not available for customers to order directly at the moment. I'm not sure if they will be in the future, but currently they are an advisor exclusive item, which means advisors have access to just a bunch of extra things that we can use as gifts or incentives or just special items for open houses and other events and things, for classes we want to teach. So if you want to get some of these, you would have to work with an advisor to get them. You can't just order them from the website yourself. I am going to use some of the Christmas cheer stickers, and I'll show you what stickers were used in these cards, but I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction with some of mine. And the Christmas cheer pack comes with 12 sheets of paper. There's 2 of each with designs front and back, and I've pulled out the 3 I want to use for these cards. So there's this sheet that has the Christmas words on one side and the tiny candy canes on the other. There's this one that has candy cane stripe with a little bit of kind of blue-gray and gold with the red and white, and then the gold polka dots on the other side. And this one that's plaid on 2 sides. So a red plaid with a little bit of green and white, and then the green plaid with white on the other. So I'm going to use those 3 sheets, and we actually are only going to use half a piece of each of these papers to create the 4 cards. So you definitely have enough, even if you use just 3 sheets of paper, to make several more cards. But you might want to get multiple packs of the embellishments, whether you're going with all gift boxes like this, or if you want to do a variety like is shown in the designs. So this is our Creative Memories blank card kit. And it comes with the white envelopes and white card bases. I'm just gonna grab 4 of them out. This pack comes with 12, so you could make a lot more cards with this, but I'm just gonna do the 4 today and set the other ones aside. You do need a trimmer to do some cutting with your paper and an adhesive. And if you want foam squares to give some pieces more dimension, you could use that. I think I'm just going to stick with the regular tape runner, or I've got the repositionable tape runner, but not use the foam squares today. So starting off, I'm going to cut all my papers in half. I mentioned you can do all these cards, 4 of these cards with just half sheet of each of these papers. And most of these don't have a direction, so it doesn't really matter which way you cut them, except that I do feel like with the words, there are certain words I'd like to have be the up and down words. So I am going to cut based on the direction of this paper that has the words printed on it. And on my trimmer, I have this little flag attached that shows me where 6 inches is. So that's going to be half of my paper. And I'm going to set aside the other half. Maybe I'll make some more cards with those, or maybe I'll use those for something else. So now what I'm going to do is start cutting the pieces for these cards, and then I'll just set the pieces in with the card that they're going to go with. So for this one, we need a background piece that's 4 inches by 5 1/4, and the dimensions are all in the instructions for this. I'm gonna be a little loose with my cutting at the beginning, if that makes sense to say. I'm not gonna cut them to the exact size just yet, but just to like the main dimension. So this is now a 4 by 6, and we're gonna cut it down a little bit smaller when we actually get to that card. And then we need another piece that's gonna be the same size for a background on this second card. Let's see, second card. Our third card, let's see, I know I need some more of this somewhere else. Oh, here it is. I also need 1 strip right there, and that strip is going to be 1 3/4 inch by 5 1/2. So my 6-inch paper was plenty large to cut all of these pieces. Sorry, what did I just say? 1 3/4 inch? Yep. Which is this last line at the edge of my trimmer. Last black line. Okay. So that's going with card number 1 as well. And then I've got a little bit extra if I wanted to use that for something else. I'll just set that off to the side for now. The second piece we're going to cut is this one that's the green plaid and the red plaid. And I'm not using exactly the same papers they've got here. I decided to go a little bit different with mine. But I need 1 piece that's 2 inches wide. I'll cut that green one first. And just because of how this one is used, if you wanted to, you could actually just cut some skinny strips. We'll talk about that when we put the card together. On this piece, we need some little squares, but I'm going to come back to that because I want to cut the larger ones first. So for this card, I'm going to do green instead of that blue, red, and green background. So this paper with more blue comes from the accessory pack. But I'm going to cut my 4-inch wide piece to be the background of the third card from the green. And then I need another piece that will be shorter to go there, but I need 1 more long. They're actually having us cut 2 skinny green strips. In this one, they used the tree print paper, but I'm, again, just going to use this green plaid. And it's 2 strips that are 1/2 inch wide each, which for this paper with the trees matched up with the design. For this one, it's going to be a little bit different because this is just a plaid that the design is a little bit different for. But we've got our first line after the cutting guide. Maybe I shouldn't say cutting guide, after the little mat that's 1/2 inch there. And then let's look at where 1/2 inch will line up here. Not loving that. Let me come back to that second 1/2 inch piece in just a second. So I do need a strip for this one, which is 1 3/4 inch again, and that's going to be from this red side, red plaid. And again, all of these are going to get trimmed again once we get to putting together the cards. I'm just cutting out basic widths at this point from my paper. And then we need these little squares to be backgrounds for our embellishments on this side. And they are going to be 1 1/2 inches by 1 3/4 inch. So 1 3/4. And then to cut this into 4 pieces, 1 1/2 inch each, which we should be able to get all 4 out of this strip because that adds up to 6 inches for 4 of those. Okay, so we've got our 4 little rectangles, all the same size. It looks like I cut maybe a little off on one of these, or 2 of them, I don't know, maybe on all of them. So to make that one the same size, just had a little sliver that needed to come off. Now those look good. So these are going to be some of them on the green side, some of them on the red side for these snowmen. Well, the card design has snowmen. I'm going to put the gift boxes on all of mine. All right, so we've got all the papers cut for this one. We've got most of the papers cut for this one. I've got one more we will still cut. Most of them are cut for this. And then I still needed my extra 1/2 inch. And that didn't really resolve that issue of just the design. Since this is going to be extra, I'm going to cut this bigger so that I've got the same kind of edge, if I can say that. Let me see, where would that line up? So if we're cutting it here, yeah, I will want to match that up. Just making sure I've got it lined up straight. Okay, so it's not exactly the width they recommended, but I'm gonna just overlap it a little bit so that looks symmetrical when I put it together. So it looks like I've got a little bit extra of this. I'm not sure if I needed it for something, but I'm gonna set it aside and I can grab it if I do need a little more. So this was for the 4th card. And then we've got one more half sheet of paper to cut up. And it's gonna be this strip here, these little squares behind the embellishments on the 3rd card. And then also I'm going to use it for the bigger rectangle that goes behind our small ones with those embellishments. So a 2-inch strip for the top of this card, card number 4. And then from the other side, the gold dots. We've got a 1 1/2 inch strip of the gold polka dots. So that one's gonna go with that card. That's all the pieces for card number 4. So now we've just got a few of these little ones. In the instructions for this, they're recommending actually to use just white cardstock, but since this is basically white with just a very mild pattern, I felt like that would be okay there. So On this one we need 3 1 by 1 and 5/8 inch squares. And on this one we need a 3 3/8 by 3 7/8 rectangle. So let's cut that one first. 3 7/8. And then it's going to become smaller by 3 3/8. All right, I believe that is just going to be extra. Let me have a quick look if this is big enough to use for my little squares here. Looks like a little too small to do all 3, but I can do 2 of them. So 1 5/8. Yes. There's my 5/8. Here's a little extra up there. 1 5/8. Another 1 5/8. And then just one more. I'll cut another strip and just get the one little square out of that. So this is extra. Even with only a half sheet of each of these 3 papers, I ended up with quite a bit extra from these papers. So you could add more layers somewhere or change which ones you're using. Or make some more cards with the same papers. All right, let's start with card number 1. So we need to do a tiny bit more trimming on these pieces, and then we can start putting that together. So the actual dimension of this one to fit with the card was 5 1/4. So there's 5, there's a 1/4, and that's going to be our large background piece on this first card. These other ones need to get trimmed down to 5 1/2 inches tall, which is the height of the card. And 5 1/2 inches is right at the edge here on our trimmer. Okay, so these are just going to get layered on that card. I'll put that together, and then we'll choose some embellishments and stickers to put on it. And I'm not being real precise with the placement, but I want to get this piece at least centered on the green piece. And make sure these are all going the full height of the card. It looks like I got it a little bit too high, which means it's not going all the way to the bottom. I've got a little munchkin here with me. She's starting to stir. I might need to take a break and go get her a bottle So we ended up having our baby in October, a little bit earlier than we planned. But she's great and she's doing great, and we're tired, but otherwise doing pretty great. Okay, so for card number 2, we've also got a little bit to cut off to make that the right height. So that is now 5.5, or sorry, 5.25 to go onto our card. The card itself is 5.5, so that just gives us a little bit of a background around the edges. Get that centered on there. So cute little Christmas words. I always love the papers that have words on them. They're usually some of my favorites from all of our packs. And then this one, just going to kind of center around the top and sides, but leave a bigger area at the bottom where a sticker will go. And alternate the red and green plaid pieces. Kind of give them a similar spacing. Okay, so we've got all the papers adhered for card number 2. Card number 3 has the green background and then the red strip in the middle. This is going to get cut down to 5.25. And then this one actually needs to get cut all the way down to 4 inches tall. So it's going to just go right in the middle there. And these card designs, these ones are specific for Christmas, but the basic layouts for all of these cards could be used again and again for birthdays and thank yous and all sorts of things you might want to send cards for. Let's see, I'm gonna line this one up on my trimmer just so I make sure it's pretty well centered. So if this is 1 3/4 of an inch, yep, then 2, and 2, a little between, a little more than 2 inches over. Or I guess a little less than 2 inches. So we end up with not quite 2 inches and not quite 2 inches, and then 1 3/4. So that looks good. And my little dotted pieces are just going to go across in the middle. The dots don't have a direction, or if you were using the plain white cardstock, that wouldn't have a direction either. It doesn't really matter how you rotate these little squares. They should be all the same size. And with the repositionable tape, if you find that your spacing isn't quite right, you can lift up your pieces and scoot them over. Well, my little one is stirring a tiny bit, but she hasn't opened her eyes yet. She should be ready to eat pretty soon, though. These little infants eat so often. They're just so hungry and their bodies are doing so much to grow. But she's been so great and she's been growing really well. So we're glad that things are going so good for her. Okay, so that's all the papers for card number 3. And then card number 4, we'll just trim all the pieces to the right heights. Or actually, since this one's going the other direction, I guess width, which is going to be 5.5. So on all the other cards, cards 1, 2, and 3, there's a little bit of a white border from the background of the card. On this one, we're actually going we're going to cover the full card background. So instead of cutting at 5.25, we're cutting at 5.5. And all of these are going to get cut the same. So if you wanted to, you could stack them all up and cut them at the same time. Then they'll all be exactly the same width. If that is too awkward, if it's just not stacking nicely, for example, you definitely don't have to do that. You could just measure each piece and cut it individually. So 5.5, make sure we get that all the way out there. And just have some little bits off the ends of those. That should be the end of our trimmer for this project. And we're going to put some candy cane stripes up top, just because of how I cut the paper. My stripes are going the opposite direction. But candy cane stripes don't have to go a certain direction, so I feel like that's okay. And then I did cut my green pieces in a way that I'm going to have to actually overlap a little bit. So instead of these all just lining up to stack, I'm going to be doing a little more overlapping. Because I want my stripes from the green plaid to be a little more even when they show behind this gold polka dot paper. So that's why I cut that one kind of a weird width instead of doing what the instructions said exactly. But that's how it worked for my papers that I chose. And sometimes you just have to make some adjustments like that. I feel like that worked out pretty well. So that's all the papers attached for card number 4. And now we're going to look at the embellishments and some stickers to add to each card. So if you were to count, you would probably notice that there are actually 13 embellishments. The little gifts here, the bows here, snowmen, and candy canes. And where I'm using just one pack, I'm going to have only 12, exactly 12. So I'm going to make a little bit of an adjustment on this last card. And I'm just going to start dividing up the embellishments that I have for each of these to decide which is going to go with which. We've got 2 that go up and down, 2 that go side to side. Let me get this out of the way so it's not so busy behind these cards and you can get a better look at them. So we've got 4 different styles of these little gift box embellishments. And I think on this one, I'll do matching. I think on this one, I'll try to do 3 different ones. Let's see, maybe a red there, maybe a dark blue on this side, a light blue in the middle. I don't know. That one's a little bit big for that square. Have to think about that. That one might work a little bit better. But then I was thinking I would do the 3 matching ones on this. So maybe I need to rearrange just a tiny bit. Whoop. Or maybe I don't need 3 matching. Maybe I'll do 3 different on this one as well. So I have enough to put 3 on each card, or like this one would have 4, and then 2 on another, which is, I like the idea of the 2 and 2 on this one. So just debating what is going to go best where. Could do something kind of like that. Could trade and have the 3 different ones on that card. I kind of think I liked this one and those ones kind of clustered. So that's how I'm going to put my cards together. This one is a little bit bigger. I'm thinking about maybe even just trimming it down with the trimmer. I hadn't considered doing that, but maybe just to make that one fit. I'll come back to that one last. But I'm going to start attaching these. And on this card in the example, there was a little space left for some words. We will do that and just leave a little space right there, a little gap to put some words in. With these embellishments, they're not pre-adhered, like they don't have sticky on them already. They're just kind of tucked into this acrylic sheet when you get them. So you do need to have an adhesive to attach them to your card or other project. But I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera. There is a little bit of dimension between the layers, and there's already some foam on those. So you could add some more foam if you want additional dimension, but I don't think I need that for these pieces at least. And some of these little gift boxes can go tall or long. So we'll have a kind of a combination of some of each across the cards. And it has all the same matching colors from this Christmas cheer paper pack. So it coordinates really well there. I like this little set with the matching. Matching two of each. You could do 1 of each on this if you like that better. That would also look really cute to have just 4 different ones. And you might want to change the size of some of your pieces. So if you feel like the squares or rectangles are a little too big or too small based on the embellishments you choose for this project, you might want to adjust the size of your pieces when you go to put your cards together. this way. Even this light kind of grayish blue color matches really nicely. It's repeated in the background here and also in the stripes for the candy cane. So it's not the traditional red and green, but it looks really good with everything from this collection. Got a little piece of something snagged there. Okay, so last card, card number 3. I'm gonna put these ones on the outside boxes. And then I just don't think I'm gonna go to the extra effort of cutting that piece. If it was really bothering you that it was like a little bit longer than the square, you could definitely trim that down. But I'm not gonna worry about it. I think I'm okay with it to just be hanging off the edge a tiny bit. Just trying to get these centered, at least kind of centered. And maybe I like it better up and down to have this one be tall. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay, so now comes the fun part, embellishing with some stickers. I guess this is all part of the fun part. None of this is unfun. But we've got a little spot for a sticker here, something here, maybe one of the border stickers. There's one sheet that's kind of icons, a lot of the nutcrackers. That was a fun theme for this collection. One sheet that is mostly words, and that's where the magic of Christmas comes from. And one sheet that is borders, and that's where this piece comes from. And that one would need to be trimmed a tiny bit to fit. But we'll have to decide, do we want the magic of Christmas or do we want something else? I do think a little word there would be good. This one doesn't have any of the gold, so I probably wouldn't pick one of the stickers that's primarily gold. Magic of Christmas is nice because it's just the red and green. And if you wanted to, you could use foam on your stickers to make those pop up a little bit and kind of mimic the layering of the foam on the embellishments. We've got Deck the Halls that would be cute there. We could do some Peace, Joy, and Love stickers. Looking for something that's not too big because there's not a huge space right there. Holidays would fit. I think I am just going to go ahead with the magic of Christmas. I'm going to attach it straight down to the paper, not do foam. I'm going to tuck it underneath that one just a tiny bit. All right, so our card number 1 is totally finished now. Card number 2, whoops, it's not this one, it's this one. Card number 2 that has the space at the bottom, maybe we'll do a word instead. Or, I mean, these borders are really pretty and fun. I want to bring in some more of the red. Or the Noel. I really like this Noel. And that kind of brings out more of the yellow dots that we've got in the background. Let's do that. I like that one here. Try to line it up centered. And again, if you wanted to pop this up with some foam squares, that would look really cute for that card. So we've got card 3 and 4, and on the example for 3, there is a sticker just right here above one of the embellishments. But my embellishments were a little bit bigger, so I don't really have that space there. Let's see what else. So Deck the Halls, that was the one they used. That could still go on there. Happy Holidays would fit. Christmas Love, that's cute. Just a simple Merry Christmas or Season's Greetings. Maybe this Holly Jolly Christmas. Let me think about that. See if I like that there. You know, I'm gonna, just because of the placement on this one, I am gonna put some foam on it. I think I will like that and have it not be totally adhered. And then you've probably seen my little trick where I just cover up some of the sticky on the back of the sticker using some either sticker strips, like the scraps from your stickers, or this is just the backing from the foam squares. And the point of that is just to make it so that large section of the sticker doesn't adhere down and give you a weird warped look when you pop this sticker up on the foam. So that's cute, brings in a little more of the yellow and some of the kind of lighter green that we've got in a few spots. So there's my first 3 cards, and my last one I modified a little bit. So in this example, there's kind of an even spacing. I decided instead to just cluster my 2 little presents right there. And then maybe we'll put a bigger word on the side. Happy Holidays would be cute there. Christmas cheer. I like this one, but it's not really a great fit for this card. North Pole delivery, that's cute. Let's go with Happy Holidays. I like the idea of some more red right here. And since that's going to be kind of larger and kind of iconic there, I'll grab some foam squares for this one as well. Okay, and just put another little scrap across the back. And I'm not really fussy about this part of it. When I put the scraps on, I don't try to like cover every inch of it. I just want to cover the main parts that I think are most likely to stick down to the card behind it. You can also avoid having a lot of that by just putting more foam onto your sticker. I'm using kind of a minimal amount here. I'm just trying to cover up some of that sticky. Okay, that's plenty, I think. Happy Holidays. Cute. Another thing on the example cards is that there's a lot of little pen work details that I didn't do, but that you could do and to add some kind of fun accents to your cards. So just running a little, looks like a stitch mark, just some little lines in pen along some of these seams or around the border of some of your backgrounds gives your card a nice little extra look. And it's especially good when you've got 2 pieces that are very similar color, like this light blue gray up against the white, or the white up against that blue gray. And then that helps it give a little bit more distinction between those 2 pieces. So here's our 4 cards that we made today. You could make those with any of the 4 embellishment packs, or if you like the variety, you could get all of the embellishment packs and make some of each. And I will post a list in the video instructions or video description with all of the supplies I used compared to what was recommended in the original design. I hope you enjoyed these cards, and I hope you're making some fun holiday cards and pages and things and just having a really good time with the holiday season. Thanks.